I feel like you need to tackle this with maturity. Hey there, Capricorn, and welcome to your week of October 18th, 2021 General Tarot reading. We got cards flipping already, but we're going to be looking at your energies coming into this week, some challenges you might be facing, as well as some possible outcomes. We're going to give clarifiers to all those cards, and we're going to tie everything off with an oracle card at the end, Capricorn. So you're going to want to, oh, excuse me, stick around for all that. We got hiccups already, too. But remember, these are general readings, Capricorn, so just take what resonates, leave the rest. Some, all, or none of this may resonate, as is the nature of general readings. So let's, without further ado, do it to it. See what we got. We got the Empress. That's very lovely. We got the Tower as well. And we've also got the Moon. You're coming in really strong here. I like that. Lots of major arcana here. And Spike is also coming in. Jumping up on the table, giving it a shake. So, we're starting things off with the Empress. So, I love that. That's beautiful energy to be in. And don't worry if you're not a woman. The Empress is an energy type. As with all the gendered cards on here. It's just an energy. Don't worry about whether you got the right equipment to go with it. But the Empress represents a ton of abundance and a ton of good things coming into your life, such as opportunities, abundance, just creating those things that you want in your life at this time. That's a wonderful energy to be in. It's also a good sign if you're looking, potentially anyone that's looking to conceive at this time. The Empress represents a ton of fertility as well. So that's wonderful. We've got the Tower here as well. And the Tower talks about change. With the Tower, you talk about sort of changes, upheavals, big time changes. You can see here there's two people kind of falling out of the Tower. One is diving out and the other one's been pushed out, and that's sort of to say if you've seen the change coming, you've seen the warning signs, because the Tower is on fire, and when there's smoke there's fire. It seems like you've seen the warning signs and you're diving out to get ahead of things right before the Tower comes down, or you're being pushed out, in which case you're not going to land in a very good spot that way. We've also got the Moon here, the sign of Pisces. So you may have Pisces in your chart. If you do, let me know down in the comments below. The Pisces card, the Moon, is a card of walking your own path. Kind of going to the beat of your own drum, staying on the path that's best for you, or at least the one that is your path, right? The one that is unique to you. The Moon can also represent partial illumination as well. You may not be able to see where you're going ultimately. Maybe like the changes with the Tower, you can see that there's change coming, you can sense it in the air, but you may not necessarily know what the change is, right? So I feel like you may not understand or know what sort of change is coming for you, or has recently taken place, or is here in the near future, but I feel like you're willing to go with it, right? You're willing to, work with it and, be the one that jumps out of the Tower, right? You don't want to be in it when it comes down, right? So let's take a look at some possible challenges you might be facing here, Capricorn. See what we got going on there for you as well. So for you, Capricorn, we got the Seven of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the High Priestess as well. So, I feel like there's a little bit of doubt here at this time, especially when it comes to, we were talking about how you have partial illumination here with the Moon, right? You can see there's signs of change, but you're not sure what the change is going to be. That is sort of reinforced here with the Seven of Cups. There's a lot of options, a lot of different ways you could go. So I feel like that is still some uncertainty here. Maybe you've been having some confusing dreams recently, where you don't really know, oh geez, I'm feeling like I'm getting mixed messages, right? And especially where we have the High Priestess here as well. The High Priestess talks about trusting your intuition, and you might be getting a ton of mixed signals, so that makes you feel like you can't trust your intuition. But I feel like you know there's change coming. You know that there's change that has to happen, and you need to rock with it, right? You need to go with it, not against it here. We've also got the Two of Swords as well. And that kind of represents getting out and going out into new worlds, having new adventures, meeting new people, getting out of your comfort zone, right? It also here has where we talked about the partial illumination with the moon. The person here in the Two of Swords is blindfolded, so there's no illumination. They don't see anything. So I feel like maybe that's what's happening to you. You feel like you maybe don't see anything, or maybe you feel like this partial illumination is doing more harm than good. Like, you know that there's change coming, but you'd almost rather, like, you didn't know it happened, like you didn't know it was coming or anything like that. Whereas, like, right now, this sort of uncertainty makes you feel like you can't do anything. So possibly that's what's happening with you here in your challenges. But yeah, I feel like, or you feel like you need to move on, but you just can't for some reason, because maybe this confusion here that's going on is kind of working against you here. So we're going to look at your possible outcomes here and possible actions to work through this. So aside from the King of Cups, let's see what else we got here for your possible outcomes. We got the King of Cups, we got the Nine of Swords, and we've got the Eight of Wands as well. So I feel like things are going to move along quickly here. Eight of Wands is the second fastest card in the deck. The only thing faster is the Chariot. So I feel like I need to move quickly, right? You know, these changes are coming and stuff, so I feel like you need to work with them as best you can and go forward that way. Or possibly some news and messages is going to be coming in for you very soon. We got the Nine of Swords as well. Again, we're just some growing concerns here, some worries with the Nine of Swords here, maybe some nightmares. I did talk about dreams here with the Seven of Cups. You might be getting some mixed messages in your dreams. And the Nine of Swords represents nightmares as well. So possibly there. But I feel like with the Nine of Swords, though, you see this bed, the flower, the design on the bed sheet is roses, and that's to say you're in a bed of roses. Things are really good for you. It's just sort of in your mind that things aren't working out so well. So I feel like you're in a good position here. It's just kind of like, again, you're getting that confusion, the mixed signals, right? But you're still in a good position here. We've also got the King of Cups, so I feel like you need to tackle this with maturity. You need to tackle this without overreacting. The King of Cups is someone who has a very much been there, done there, been there, done that attitude. The King of Cups, doesn't get worked up, doesn't let his emotions rule him. He rules his emotions. So I feel like, again, you just need to tackle this with some maturity, with some spike interfering with the reading. Excuse me, mister. I appreciate your want to help here, but you've caused more harm than good, my friend. You get your butt out of there. You're going to sit down on a rock, and I'm not fishing it out. Sit down on a rock, sit down on a crystal. Oh, now you're knocking stuff over. What a jerk. Anyhow, you need to go at it like that. You need to not overreact. You need to not get upset about things, right? It is what it is. Work with the change. It's probably gonna be like a blink and you miss it sort of thing. I feel like with the Eight of Wands here, I feel like things are just kind of quickly go over, and before you know, it's like, oh, things are different now, right? We didn't even realize it. So let's get into your clarifiers here. Capricorn, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. We're going to tackle everything here with the clarifiers, and we're going to tie everything off with an oracle card, so you're going to want to stick around for that. Thank you again for being here, Capricorn. And let's get into your clarifiers and start by clarifying your energies here. We got the Seven of Pentacles. We've got the Seven of Swords as well. Interesting. And we got the Nine of Cups too. So I feel like with your energies right now, you're very satisfied with things. This change is interesting here as well. Like this change with the Tower. I feel like you're very satisfied with your abundance, of course, as well as with, we've got the moon underneath here. I feel like you're very satisfied with everything that's going on with you. It's just a matter of, we're just a little cloudy here, like that partial illumination we were talking about, which is relevant with the Seven of Pentacles here, because the Seven of Pentacles represents you not knowing whether the juice is worth the squeeze, right? You don't know whether what you're doing is worth the effort you're putting in here, right? So we have that partial illumination. Maybe you feel as though this change you're working towards, or this change that's coming, isn't going to be worth it. Maybe you feel like, we should just do things the old way. However, this situation applies to you. We've also got the Seven of Swords here. I feel like you're very defensive at this time, right? This person is willing to kick this other person down the stairs to the zombies to die a horrible death because they're trying to protect themselves. So you might be in that kind of a mode. Again, maybe you feel like this change kind of threatens you a bit. I feel like you're just a little defensive because you just don't have all the information. But that's all right. We don't always have all the information, but we still got to make it happen, Captain. You know what I'm saying, Capricorn? So let's take a look at your clarifiers for your challenges here as well. So we got coming in, we've got the Page of Wands. The Tower again has come up. And we've got the Fool as well. So, you're just really concerned about this change, this new start here with the Fool. And with the Page of Wands here, it might be a case where you might be dealing with someone a little younger than you as well. Someone who's kind of more creative and has that, or not more creative, but someone who is creative and has a bit of that spark for everything they want to happen, right? They're very creative, very bold, very much going after what they want here. So maybe that's the change you're worried about. Maybe there's someone being inserted into a situation here that is very much like a Page of Wands, and that's what's really worrying you here. Whether that's like at work or in love or, in your family situation or whatever the case may be, even like a new addition to your friend group or something. Like you may be worried about how that dynamic might throw everything off, or you might feel as though you don't need to add that kind of a person into your life here as well, because things are just going so well for you. Or if it's not a person, it might be just a situation where you're just worried about somebody's new idea or something, like this new idea they have in their mind, and you might feel a little concerned about that like this doesn't need to happen. We don't need to have a change. We don't need to start something new, right? So let's take a look at your outcome clarifiers as well. All right, so let's see what we got, Capricorn. We've got for you and your clarifiers for your outcomes. We got the Eight of Swords here, the Magician, and the Four of Swords. So with this, the Magician's up because the Magician is, if Spike would kindly move his buttocks, the Magician and the Empress work in tandem. The Magician is the master manifestor, manifest all the things you want into your life, whereas the Empress births it into reality. So I feel like you're kind of in that abundance where you want things to happen, you want things to be birthed into this world, but now you're working your way around, and now it's a time to manifest. It's a time like we got what we wanted, we got the abundance, we got the kind of illumination, the signs, the changes are coming, but now it's time to manifest something different here. It's time to work on manifesting some sort of positivity in your life here. We've got the Eight of Swords as well. It represents self-imposed restrictions, which, isn't necessarily a bad thing. That could be something like, dieting and things like that, or budgeting, stuff along those lines. But with the Eight of Swords and the King of Cups here, I feel like, again, this is kind of a need to put a restraint on your emotions, because I feel like you might be overreacting a bit too much, right? You don't want to be doing that. I feel like you need to put that handcuffs on your emotions a bit in this situation, because you need to tackle this with maturity, whatever this situation is, whether this is a new thing, a new sort of situation changing here, or a new person, being added to the situation. I feel like you need to tackle it with maturity and kind of put the handcuffs down onto the overreactions and things. We've also got the Four of Swords, represents a card of maybe solitude, or maybe it does represent solitude and sort of being on your own and kind of thinking things through by yourself. So I feel like that also kind of needs to happen here. You need to kind of, maybe you're getting a little too hung up in the hype with others around you. You're just, being a little bit, everyone's saying like, oh, it's going to be bad, it's not going to work out. And then you're kind of just letting that kind of feed into your mind, because maybe you don't know as much about this situation as others do, right? This could be a thing where there's kind of humdrum around the office, right? There's kind of word of mouth, like, oh, they're implementing a new system, this new person's getting hired, they're gonna mess everything up for us, right? It could be something like that, and then you just kind of get worked up in it. But I feel like you need to kind of take some time on your own and really think and really dive deep into that and realize what that means for you, rather than what that means for everybody else. So that is pretty good here. A little bit of introspection here this week for you, Capricorn. So let's take a look at your oracle card here to tie everything off. Hopefully this has been helping out. Hopefully this has been resonating to some degree for you, Capricorn. But let's take a look, and there's a pop out for you. There's a pop-up. We got cards that flipped through the deck too here, so we'll just get them taken care of and see what we got for you here, Capricorn. We got the Moth Spirit, surrender now. Yeah, I feel like you need to kind of surrender your emotions at this time. Kind of surrender, let them kind of be like, okay, we're done. They're kind of, you know, sort of how this person is kind of captured in this cage, kind of like they're like a prisoner of war or something, or they're being held captive. I feel like you need to, your emotions need to surrender and be held captive. They need to be locked up so that you don't, you know, do or say something that you shouldn't, or you shouldn't do or say something that you're going to regret down the line, or, you know, feed into that hype and overreact and end up kind of being one of the people that are like, oh, this new thing, this is going to suck, this new person is going to suck, it's going to ruin everything. Whereas you could be more mature about it and like look at it from the perspective of, but this could be great for me, or this could be great for everybody. We just, you know, everyone is just afraid to change, right? Nobody wants to change. No one wants to try anything new, right? I know for myself, I used to work, I still do work for a company, and one of the first weeks when I first got hired there, somebody was complaining about a change that was being made, and they're like, I'm gonna quit, I'm done with this is, you know, whatever, I'm not putting up with this crap anymore, this is stupid. And then the change happened and they didn't quit, and they're still working there 10 years later. You know what I mean? Like, it's like some people just get so worked up, and don't be that person. Don't be like bitter and be like, change is stupid, like whatever. Like, give it a try. It might end up working out better. It might end up being awesome. This person coming in might be fantastic. You might meet a new best friend, or a new coworker that you just love. It makes your days go by easier. So that's what I got for you for this week, Capricorn. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this has helped you out. Hope this is giving you some insight here. If you want to help out the channel, though, you can always leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign videos too after this one. Thank you again for being here, Capricorn, and I will see you in the next video.